read living option questions. These are questions you can have in mind when you're going to check out a place to live or thinking about places to live. So, first one, and it's important, how much will it cost? You need to know what the monthly rent is. If you can't afford it, you probably shouldn't be looking at it, right? Where is the place located? It's important to know what city that you want to live in and making sure you know what street it's on in order to check it out. What is the neighborhood like? Is it quiet? Is it loud? Are there young people, old people, a mix of people? Maybe you should go there and check it out at different times during the day in order to see what the neighborhood could potentially be like. What activities are available? If you live in a building, like an apartment building, sometimes they have activities like bingo or going out to the mall, maybe going out to dinner one night, crafts, that type of thing. So you can ask the person or the manager in charge what type of activities they have. How is medicine and health care provided? Now, if you live independently, that's stuff that you have to do on your own. You have to find your own way to your doctor appointments. No one's helping you with that. If you live at a group home, they will help you get to those doctor appointments and make the doctor appointments for you. But independently, it's all on you. You need to figure all that out for yourself. How are meals planned and served? Now, if you're living in a group home, that is a good question, and usually the staff helps provide those meals, and you work with maybe a couple of the clients that live at the house in order to make them, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And if you live independently on your own, guess who has to cook those meals? You do. So really, that's not a question. If you're moving in by yourself, you should know how to cook. That's a skill that you need to know how to do for yourself if you want to move into an apartment on your own. What kind of transportation is available? So it's nice to know if you're going to be moving in independently on your own, how are you going to get around your local community? Is a bus stop accessible to you? Is it in walking distance? That's kind of an important thing. Where I live at, we don't have taxis and we don't have buses. There are no buses in my area, zero. So in order for me to get around, it's either my bike or it's my car. So that's very important. So if you have to get around your community, it's nice to know that there might be a bus stop available to you if you ride the bus. And what are the rules about having visitors? I skipped one, but that's okay. I'll go back to it. So what are the rules about having visitors? Having visitors, if you live independently, that's probably fine. But if you live in a group home, that's an important question to ask. Are you allowed to have guests? Usually you can have your family over maybe for dinner, but they're not going to be letting you have like 15 friends over. That's not happening unless it's like a special occasion, like maybe a birthday party for yourself. But that's an important thing to know. And let me go back to the one that I missed. What other individuals live there? Now that would be a group home. You would have other people living there. If you live independently on your own, you're the only other one that lives there besides the other tenants that are maybe in the apartment complex in different apartments, separate apartments. You might have a roommate if you live in a group home, so that's an important thing. What do people who live there say about the place? So when you go to look at an apartment or you go to look at a group home, you can ask the other clients that live there how they like it. Is it quiet? Does everybody get along? What kind of fun things do you do? The more questions you ask, the more answers you'll get, and you won't be so worried when it comes time to move in. And how can my needs be met there? Again, that comes with knowing yourself and knowing what you need. Do you need medical help? Do you need somebody to help you with your medications, taking you to doctor appointments? Do you need help with getting a job? Those types of things. Those are all good, important questions to ask when you move into a group home, who would be helping out with those things in order to know what you're in for. And if you're living in a supported apartment independently on your own, it's nice to know who's going to be helping you out with those things and how often the staff will be coming to the home. And they left one little area blank, and that's other. And if there's any other questions you could think of, those are all very important. questions, because you just don't want to move in someplace and just be like, oh, I should have asked this beforehand because I didn't know that this was going to happen or that was going to happen. So making sure that you write questions down, or at least being able to remember them or record them into your phone so you can remember to ask those questions. Because moving out and choosing a place to live is a really big deal, and it's a big move on everyone's part. So it shows growth in being independent. Even if you're moving out of your parents' home or your caregiver's home into a group home, that's a step towards independence, because usually when you move into a group home, the next step would be to work towards independence, living in a supported apartment where you have staff coming in. And then from there, moving out of there into your own apartment with very minimal staff coming in to help you out. But hopefully some of these questions would help you guys when you're starting to go through your transition plans and finding living options and thinking about living options.